From a fundamental macro perspective, what is good about what they're doing here?
Cammy's looking for an opening. He's going to find nothing. Picture perfect from Heretics so far. Don't flip.
So here. Not necessarily the spawns via. What do you see here though? What's the time on the clock here, chat? Right here. Right here, right? Right here. Here. What are they doing good? So someone's already said it. Someone has already said it. It's 44 seconds. There's 44 seconds. What do we always preach? 44 seconds. What do we always preach? Come on, guys. Are we paying attention? What do we want to do in 44 seconds? Yes, Spaz. Yes. Let the game come to you. When you get a clean wave, 44 seconds, we control the chaos. When you control the chaos, you know where they're spawning. When you know where they're spawning, you know who's coming off spawn, the order of operations, you know what routes they're going to take. You're then, from a micro perspective, two things. You have your free life, and you play hybrid spots or power spots in the map to play your guarantee for the next wave. So then you soak, play the guarantee for the next wave, 4 versus 3, and then you fight together, ape together, strong. So right here, Miami have done a fantastic job spawning and burger, right? Playing to cut them, playing to take the same fights, and then one has the ability to play ahead, block spawns, flip, use his free life to do whatever he wants, because on this game it is so easy to flip spawns. Let the game come to you. Appreciate you, Otoko, for the tier 1. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much.
Right into the hard point.
Now, chat, question for you guys, chat. Why is it important you let the game come to you when there's more than 30 seconds left on the clock? When you have, let's think about it from a micro perspective, when you have these power spots and you're funneling them, why is it important you let the game come to you except for this guy? Give me an answer here. Doing your 25%, don't let it get chaotic, good. No point overextending and fucking yourself over, good. But let's think about it from Boston's shoes. You don't want to get put into a blender and lose the progression you have on the map, good. But think about it from Boston's point of view, right? Think of it from Boston's shoes. Why do you want to do that? Why does it make what is the difficulty when you're in Boston's shoes when a team is doing that? Think about it if you're Boston. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Okay, they have to play the point, yeah. But what do they have to do? There's two things. They're stuck between giving up 30 and worry about next. Okay, good answer. But there's two things that I'm thinking of here. There's two things I'm thinking of. Okay, good. Otoko, good. They have to clear everything. They have to clear the... Yes, chaos, fantastic. So they're the two things. They have to take routes. And when you take routes, remember, if you're the first guy taking a route, it's going to take you time to set up the play. Naturally, right? But then also you have so many positions when you're trying to anticipate and predict that you have to clear. And a lot of these positions, if they're slide cancelling, taking Charles, they're cammering you, taking Charles, they're playing these high percentage gunfight positions, it's hard for you to then break that because you can't just run out and take a fight. It then brings in his teammates to take the same fights. So you're at a disadvantage right here. Play the wave, let the game come to you, play your hybrid spots, play your power spots, then you can camera, then you can take Charles, bring your teammates into the play, and then flip on your own terms. This is how the macro affect the micro, guys. You're going to hear me say that a million times.
He's looking for an opening. He's going to find nothing. Picture perfect from Heretics so far.
Don't flip spawns. Well, you're going to get some splits. You get off that hill. You're going to pick it up, though. But, yeah, you pretty much know they're coming from everywhere. So, yeah.
So let's see how Boston broke this. This was such a huge fight right here. So, what do you guys notice here? Why was this such a big kill? Why was this such a big kill here, chat? Splits, yes. Snoopy has no right winning this gunfight. Snoopy, good answer, Burning. Yep. Snoopy has no right winning this gunfight. He should be dead. He should be dead. 7, based on him, would have spawned like here. And they all would have kept him on the same side. Now, this is the importance of staying alive when you are the last guy in a safety net. Jose should have won this. Real should have won this gunfight. He should have won this. He's thinking he's got this, right? But if he stays alive even for 1 more second and he's weak and he just tries to buy time, he tries and brings number 3 into the play, they're spawning back here. And then they're soaking time. But all because of one gunfight, it has a domino effect. It has a domino effect that ends up Boston breaking. So this right here, Snoopy wins an unwinnable to then set up the break for his rest of his teammates by then spawning him out. Right? And then now look at where Jose is going to spawn here. Back here. Right? And now they have a natural pinch going on. All because of one gunfight, chat. All because of one gunfight. You lose one gunfight and that's what happens. Right, now let's look at Miami. They're the first guy taking routes. Now they're trying to set up a break. Nice. Good plays for Renko. Alright, chat. What do you notice Boston have done really well here? I want you to tell me, what do you think Boston have done good here? So right here. So we get the 2-piece. What's good from Boston? Playing together for spawns. Covered all lanes to play next. They've kept spawns. Yes, they're counter blocking. They're keeping... There's a couple things that they do well here, guys. 6 and 8 are counter blocking. Meaning, even if Boston start spawning out, getting parallels, as long as they keep the game counter blocked, meaning they continue to block, right? They will then force the parallels. He has the hardest lane or the furthest lane, right? Denying any progression through any progression from Miami here. This guy's got informed progression here. They're holding progression, keeping the spawns for next, but most importantly, chat, is they don't have numbers. They're keeping the game counter blocked. They're counter blocking, so they're not gifting Miami the potential if they ran forward to then spawn, say, on you as an example. They're not challenging, dying, and spawning out. Yeah, I will do. I'm down. I will do tomorrow. Dude, look at Purge, bro. Look at Purge right here. Look at Purge right here, chat. He gets 1. So my gripe with Boston, and I've always had this gripe with Boston, is I think sometimes they play too hard for this side of the map. I think they play too hard for this rather than letting teams push it, because you're going to spawn here anyway. It's a form of a layer. Instead of like, Boston should be playing hard for this side of the map, in my opinion. Evan pushed out here, someone here, and one guy here. I just think they have to be closer towards time, so then they have the ability to trade out, spawn good. Even if they take routes, it's fine. You're still going to spawn here. And then you can use your free life to then bump out P1, get them spawning 18, boom, here, kill zone.
The battle commences here at P2.
Yeah, nobody's really going on a route if you're Heretics. You're just fighting through the front. You're trying to flood through blue.
Now they flood in. Very good. Now they can bump here if they need it.
He's able to cut down too. He's now on the hill.
Soaking up time, finding kills.
Same concept, guys. I'm not necessarily a big fan of them overstacking the left when the pressure's coming from the front. I would rather, with 30 seconds left, I'd rather have teams hitting the back. The reason why, guys, I want teams hitting the back is you can layer. As long as you have this pushed out, you push this out, get someone pushing out, you're going to spawn on time, let them take their out. One person can watch it, As long, even if 7 activates from this faster, so if they do what they did here, right? If they want to play soft on time, it's fine. I just want them to be faster doing this. That's why I would rather prefer something like this, someone bump out like this, get them spawn in 18. 6 can fucking pinch this as well. If they spawn in 18, boom. They have to take front routes, you have everything. That's what I would prefer to do from a flow perspective. Because now look at them, they're in the 3v2 if Miami were quicker. And now 6 can activate. You know what I'm saying? Look at where they spawn in here. See where they spawn in 18? I would rather they bump out P1. 6 can help activate, spawn them 18, and now you have everything. They have to hit front.
Backside wins that on 2 HP. What a stretch. Up 20, 15 to go. We'll now try to get into the setup for next as Real's chopping.
It is way more comfortable funneling them through front than it is by allowing them by playing like super weak front. So like you funnel them front when you have pressure front, if that makes sense, right? So you're actively trying to play to force them front, but in order for that to work, you have pressure front. Rather than overstacking the left, especially with 30 seconds left, let them hit the back with 30 seconds. Let them. You're going to spawn here anyway. As long as you're denying them front progression. As long as you're denying RV from this power spot, you have P1 pushed out, so they have gens. You're in a hybrid spot. And you can just refill. And worst case, you don't spawn here anyway. You're going to spawn like here if they hit in front. You know? That's just the way I prefer. Alright, chat. For my regulars in the chat, what is good about what Miami are doing for P3 rotation? What do we want to do for P3 rotation, chat? What do we want to do? For my regulars, what do we want to do? What do we want to fill in first, though? What positions do we want to flow first? Not sit back. Nope. Yes, P1. We want to play on the rotations. We want to play for P1 control. P1 and gens control. Have one guy here playing info front. Something like this. And we're refilling like this, right? Why? Chat, why? For my regulars, you guys should know. Why do we want to do this? Yeah, they are hybrid spots, but from a flow perspective, why do we want to control that side of the map? What is the importance? Talk to me. What is the importance about controlling P1? Spawning them burger. Good. You can play everything. Good. You're blocking. Good. Now, pressure on the map. Good. Gonna take routes from all, trying to keep the good spawns for next. Good. Now we're thinking. QRP. Good. So, if we get that wave, and they spawn burger, what can we do? P1 is the blender, power spots for P3, deep route for them to flip. Good. If we have them spawn in burger, chat, and I've said this many times for my regulars, so you should know, what can we effectively do? Take space of P1, keep blocking, can only go deep left or run up street, team shoot. Okay. What do we call it? For my regulars, what do we call it? Funneling. What do I call it? When you have them in one place and they have to run forward. What is it? What do we call it? What is it called? A kill box. Yes, Baz. Yes, Baz. Yes, we kill them. They're in a kill box. We're suffocating them. Very good. We're paying attention. We're paying attention. Very good, guys. So look how they're playing it from here. Look at 1. Playing to trade for 6. They're going to refill through P1. The way pros refill is they try and get in these good spots first. They are so fast at getting into spots to give them the best chance of winning a gunfight. Look at them. Look at them. Look how they get in these spots. Wow. You see how Renko bails him out here, chat? You see Renko playing a good spot? This is why refilling through P1 is important. Look at the spot he's in. Getting 2 pieces. You give multiple areas and multiple routes of attack. You can then refill P1. Spawn in here for a reason because of this guy's push past. Now they'll know he's going to be here. Look at him refilling through P1. Why does one just forget about 6? Like 6 could have went truck and hit the back to get spawns. So why does one forget about 6? So right here, look at him. Look at how he's playing it. He's assuming 6 has done this, not this or this. For whatever reason, he's assumed he's re-wrapped back to blue. That's why he's done that. You know what I'm saying? Right here. Look, he looks at him here. He's probably thinking he's run backwards. Because look, no, but that's just what he's looking at his screen. Like, look at it. I'll show you right here. Right here. He would have seen him like here, but he probably thought in his head he's like outside the door, and he's done that.
Miami Heretics to work with. That position, try to turn time. About 40 seconds from that.
Like right here.
Able to cut down another.
He sees him there. He sees him there. It's like, oh, maybe he's gone back. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he doesn't see him. Maybe he's just assuming. Oh yeah, no, 100%. Oh no. Forget what I just said. He doesn't see him. He's got the call. He's there. He's assuming he's done that because he's cleared this. But then he's also going to trust his teammates to eventually pick it up if needed. It's not too much of an issue from a timing perspective, because it's still going to take him like 7 seconds to run through and do something.
Map position, try to turn it into time, but that map position, its players getting blocked. Gunfight wins for Virgin Awakening, puts the pressure to
Yeah, but good job from 3 picking that up.
Step up to the plate.
Kill box, guys. Look at the kill box. You just have to run into irons. Look at 3 people shooting one way. This is why I keep saying, get them spawning in one place, chat. You know exactly where they're spawning. You play positions to iron. Take child, slide cancel, whatever you want to do. Stun nade, stun nade. Take the fights together. And look at 4. It gives 4 the timing to just repinch. See this chat? Look at it. Look at 4, dude. Look at 4. This is fucking insane. Insane. This is why getting P1 is so important. Look at him again, getting P1 again. So good. Such a blender. Such a fucking blender right here, chat. Hard blocking. Last guy's hard blocking. They'll make the kills. Real has a free life. He's going to spawn here. If he dies. This is such a blender setup, chat. Ooh! That is no bueno. No bueno right here. No bueno.
Yeah, Rancor wins the fight, so you keep position around the hard point. And then you get blessed
Damn.
right behind him. Oh, that
Yeah.
is tough.
It would have been fine. They would have been fine if number 3 played this side of the hill. They won't spawn here. If you play like this side of the hill, you won't spawn here. They would have spawned like even deeper. They would have spawned, actually, they would have spawned like here. They had 2 people past the hill, the 50 yard, and they weren't hard blocking. So this right here is suffering from success. If number 3 is playing to block, just keeping the game organized and still ironing, then these 2 would have spawned out here. They would have secured the last 30 seconds. This game would have been scary. That's fine. Good rebreak though. Good rebreak right there. And no map progression spawn. You spawn close, yeah.
Sometimes that happens to this Heretics team. We'll see it on like Vault. Like they'll play really aggro, and it'll lead to
That's where you got to balance, chat, like playing super aggressive and understanding, okay, if my guy's going rogue using his free life, as long as the rest of us are playing safety net positions to keep the game controlled and blocked, we're going to be fine. But look how they ape here. Look how they ape here. They're in a 4v3. Look how fast they're going to play. Look how fast they're going to play here. Trust, trust, trust. Fight together. See that, chat? Let's watch this again. Hold on. So right here, chat. Boom. 4 versus 2. What do we want to, chat? What do we want to do in a 4 versus 2? Tell me, chat. Use emotes. What do we want to do in a 4 versus 2? I know we got the emote for it. Yeah. Come on, Via. Use the emote. What do we want to do in a 4? I need to make sure you guys are keeping this stupid simple. I need to know you guys are keeping it stupid simple right here. There's another one. There is another one. There's another 2. Ape together strong. We hive mind. We have numbers. Use it. Ape together. Force trades. We gotta be fast. Look how they're forcing trades here. Look at number 2 fighting. Look at number 1 taking a route. Playing to trade. It doesn't. Look at the weapon Rencor has, by the way, chat. It's just whoever is in the fill order, like whatever number you are in the flow, guys, you have to just go and trust your teammates. These are the situations when you have trade battles, chat. It doesn't matter who you are, what weapon you have, what role you have. It doesn't. None of that shit matters. You just gotta go based on the numbers. Renkor's the first guy. Look at him. He has an AR. Sorry, he's the second guy. He has an AR. Now, in these situations, some players will pull out 3 SMGs based on the nature of the hill. So right here, you might see 3 SMGs and they start trading together.
But Heretics, they fight on towards this B5.
Yeah, I mean, this is 3 straight hard.
After they'll get the first kill of the next wave, now they'll start aping. They'll start activating. Look at them. Activate. So look at this, chat. Look how good this was, chat, right? So right here, they get a clean wave, okay? Now you know exactly where they're spawning. They'll play the guarantee of the first kill, right? They have 2 options. It's either you use your free life or you play the guarantee of the next wave because you're letting the game come to you. After you get the first kill, you're in a 4v3. Then you can ape together and start trading. So Super gets that free kill. Look how they activate. Look at number 4. Right here, chat. Look at number 4 activating in a 4 versus 3. Look at Rencor taking Charles. Look at number 1 getting into the play. Look at number 2 getting into the play. Once you have numbers advantage, chat, let the game come to you. Play that guarantee of the first wave because you're in hybrid spots, you're in power spots. Use your stun, use your nades. Once you get that first kill, then you activate and you just play to fight together. You play to trade. Look at this. And then you trade. And then you can adapt based on where you spawn, where they're spawning. Very good. Same again, you can let the game come to you, play the first kill of the next wave, and then force trades. Look how they force trades here. Look how they force trades, look how they force trades. This is teamwork right here, keep it stupid simple. Nice. Okay, chat. So this was initially good, right? So this is fine. Super gets 1. So one thing I don't like, right? What do you think right here I don't like? Minimap perspective aside. What do you think about this I don't necessarily like, chat? What do you reckon? Look at the minimap here. Look at number 3. Chat, what do you think I do not like about this situation of how they played it? So, minimap aside. Two spread, okay. Ami taking solo, Charles. So right here. So hindsight perspective aside, what do you think they could have done differently here? So one shifting is good, but right here, chat, what do you think? Two spread is not is kinda the answer. He wasn't helping his team. So let's expand. Spartan, good answer. Let's expand on that. He went to watch what his teammate is watching. That's not necessarily why I disagree with this play. I think right here, he has progression. He has just spawned up. I think you bump him out. I think we bump 3 out here. Number 1 is staying alive, and they can reinforce time. Because even, let's say 7 takes a route, 1 has that info. Let's say 8 takes a route, 1 will have the info. Even if 5 does this, 3 is going to play for it. They're then in hybrid spots where they can help from hill. Remember, guys, if you're refilling through time, you can cut from hill. I think right here, they spread themselves too thin. I think right here, 3 bump out 4. 4 is helping 2. And in either situation, they can react off it. And they can cut from the time. 1 can play his life. He's playing info in case someone's done this or someone's done this. And 3 has got the gens pinch. They then would have had P1 rotation because they're refilling through time. And because they have time, they can cut either way. This is how we use our teammates' progression. Keep it stupid simple. I don't think he takes this route. In my opinion. Because 1 could have done the same thing anyway. They would have had hill control. 1 would have already been here playing for 7. They would have traded these 2 guys out, and they would have still got him spawning here anyway. Nice, look at what number 4 is doing. Number 4 has a free life. Staying alive. Now they're fighting together. Number 4 has a free life. As long as they block, they're good. Look at him using his free life, chat. You can get specific info. He can play with confidence. They're playing good spots to play the guarantee of the next wave. And now they're going to explode. Again, he has a free life. Chat, explain to me why a free life is important again. Right here, why is this free life important? Why is Real's free life here important? Talk to me. Why is this very good with 16 seconds left? P2 spawns, get info and make 1 week. So what can we do with the info? Again, I want you guys thinking on the micro. What can we do with the info? What are we thinking here, chat? So micro means how we take in gunfights. The positioning we're using. Info for what to hold and rotation. Good. This is reading the pressure. So micro is like all the little things like what you're seeing on your screen from an individual perspective. How is he taking the gunfight? How is he sliding? How is he centered? How is he camera? How is he using his cameras? How is he, stuff like that. Anything to do with the actual like gunfight perspective, movement and gunfight perspective. Like right here, yeah. Now, the issue is they end up double scamming. Look at 2. 2 should have stayed where he was. Oh shit. So if he wins that trade right here, if 2 stays where he was, I think 2 was a bit too thin. If 2 stays where he was, keep it counter blocked. Would have traded out. Then they would have counter blocked, and then then the game doesn't get this messy. All right, let's see how they play this situation here. All right, look at 3. All right, chat. right here. What do you notice is one of the biggest differences between this P2 rotation versus Boston's P2 rotation from a flow perspective? From a flow perspective, what do you notice is different? And then I want you to tell me from a micro perspective, taking space. But okay, but what I want you to expand, what space are they taking and why is that significant? Miami is pushing out the right. Yes, most teams on their first wave, even in their second wave, when they let the game come to them, is they'll have one person, maybe, playing info on the left, right? They'll have these hybrid spots to bump out Gens or P1, right? They're making you push out Burger. Now, chat, this is the same concept as Skyline P4. If you have this side pushed out and enemies are playing through here, is 13 pardon his So right here, chat, why do we want Boston to hit round the back in the first wave? Explain to me what happens. What's from a macro perspective? What is that? What happens if you die? And if you die, like say here, from this guy, where are you going to spawn? Let's say they've pushed around here. Let's say they're like here. What happens? What do we call it, chat? I want you to start thinking. What do we call it? Come on, Spartan, give me the answer. Arctic. Go to sleep or else. Split spawn, not necessarily, Foggy. You spawn bin, okay. They won't spawn out in this situation, Arctic. Nope. They won't spawn out. So burning DM. So the question is, right? There's a reason that Miami in most teams, from a flow perspective, will prioritize refilling like this side of the map first. Right? They'll have maybe someone pushed out here. They'll try and control. My point is, you want to try and control and refill hybrid spots and power spots towards P1 and Gen side of the time. Let's say if you're this guy and number 6 is here and you died to number 6, why is that not necessarily a bad thing? Foggy, yet a Miami spawn closer to time. Yes, so what do we call it, chat? What is the term? What do we do? What do we call it? So we what? So if they're pushing the back, you're going to spawn bins. Garbage. What do we call it, chat? What is the term? I want to know the term. Layering. Good, good, good. It's called layering. This is where we layer. On certain hills, from an efficiency perspective, you want teams to hit certain sides of the map because it gives you the chance and the ability to fight again, to have multiple team fights. So right here, as long as you have someone pushed out getting information early, you're playing hybrid spots that give you the ability to get the first kill of a wave and stay alive. Even if Boston hit the back, if you it gives you that for your life. If you have the confidence to get specific info and challenge and your team is set up, you know exactly where they're coming from. You die, you spawn here. You can then refill where's required, and then you can play off that. So let's say in this situation here, chat, let's say number 4 is here, but Boston are taking these routes. So 5 is here. They're doing this. He's in a position where he can activate off that. And then because every kill he's getting, you're just going to spawn him deep 18 to then funnel through front anyway, right? This is how we use the advantageous position we're in. We try and give teams a particular spawn. When you give teams a particular spawn, you understand who you've killed in which order. You then understand the timings of routes they can take in relation to you, and then you funnel them to set up the next wave and let the game come to you. Simple as that. And that's one of the differences between how Miami flow on Rewind P2 versus how Boston flow on Rewind P2. Because we saw with Boston, they'll instantly play to secure this side rather and be soft on this side. Whereas you want to deny teams from just bullying through front and let them hit the back because it gives you the ability to layer. Very good, guys. Good fucking answers, guys. And remember, guys, whatever you don't see is telling you exactly where the enemy's gonna be. Information, guys. Information is king. He gets the first kill. That's fine. Now he's in a hybrid spot to trade. And look at where he spawns, guys. He then spawns bin to then refill wherever the pressure and specific information is telling you to refill. This is why this is important. Look at where they're spawning. This is why for money hills, giving teams a certain side of the map puts you in positions where you can get bailed out by the spawn system to then refill where you get specific info. Look at this, guys. They're just trading out. Woo! Okay. It's not optimal, but it still gives you the chance to fight again, to fight again, to fight again. And it's about understanding, like, your timings, understanding what spots can you get to and how fast can you get to them before the other team, and then playing your life from that.
It's just so tough to do here on Rewind. They're just getting blown out. Breach gonna need some sort of miracle here.
Look at this again. Look at Miami. Look at how they're playing P1 again. Super has a free life. We're forcing him spawning burger. We can take the fights together. We can cut. Let the game come to you. This is how we develop a game plan, guys. This is how you develop a game plan based on what you need to fill and flow first, and then you play off your game plan. And this is how everyone knows what you do in relation to that. So look at number 2. Look how annoying number 2 is. Look how annoying number 2 is, and 8 is tweaking because 8 doesn't know where number 2 is. 8 has to play for number 2, but he has so many areas to check. That's why your flow is so important in situations like this.
That's their only option. So I mean, it is just a blender. It is Boston death.
All right, chat. So for my newer viewers, appreciate all you guys following, right? My question to you guys is based on what you see in front of you right now, right? So let me paint the picture. So we're spawning them here, right? In the, well, instead of spawning them here. So let's say if you pushed out burger, you'd spawn them here, right? Like you give them a P2 spawn, like a back spawn. Assuming number 2's not here. Let's assume number 2's not here, right? Appreciate you spouting for the tier 1. Appreciate it, brother. Thanks so much. Right, now guys, I want you to start thinking, right? This is closer to the hill than this spawn. But we want to ideally give them this spawn because we form what's called a kill box, right? A kill box is an area of the map where everyone can take fights at the same place. He's taking the same fight. He's taking the same fight. He's taking the same fight. This guy can take the same fight. We're suffocating them. For my newer viewers in the chat, give me another hill on another map where you can kill box them, where the closest spawn is not the most disadvantageous spawn. No, is not the most advantageous spawn you can give them. Give me another example, chat, of a kill box. Skyline P4. I wouldn't use Skyline P4 as an example. Protocol P3. We don't play Protocol anymore. But I see the vision. Nope. There is another hill on a map you guys haven't named where you can set up a kill box. I'm not going to use Rewind. Vault, there's one even worse than Vault P2 and P4. Even worse. Remember, it's a spawn point that's closest to the time, but really is a disadvantage because of the fact you can team shoot. David, I like the answer, so it's on red card, but not red card P2. Yes. Now chat, based on this concept that you're seeing here, right? You're giving them the closest spawn to the time, but it's a kill box because you're suffocating them. Why is red card P2 so bad? Why is it super bad for that? Someone give me an answer. Why is it super bad for that? Let's get you guys thinking. For you guys lurking, For you guys lurking, get involved. Why is red card P2 really bad from a kill box perspective? What spawn is closest to the hill on red card P2? Let's break it down. Let's chunk this, right? Let's chunk this. We'll go one at a time, right? On red card P2, what spawn point is closest to the hill? What? Yeah. Defense S&D. Okay, good. What do we call it? What do we call that? What's the call out for it? Just in case people don't know what defense S&D is on red card. What do we call it? What is it called? Come on, fellas. We know what it's called. Red card P2. When you spawn at the back, what is it called? Soap, what is it called? Red card P2 when you spawn at the back. What's the call out for it? We're blacking out here, chat. On red card P2, what is the call out? It's market, guys. Do you not call it market? Or am I tweaking? Am I the only one that calls it market? Okay, anyway. But my point is, right? You have a market spawn. You also have what we call lights. You have a light spawn, right? BS&D, lights, fucking... I don't know what else, right? I don't know whatever you call it. But the thing is with the light spawn, and again, this is based on the time, is they can take routes to get out of a blend, right? Whereas if you give them the market spawn and you have power positions and you let them come to you, you can take the same fights because the kill box concept is still the same. You're suffocating them. Imagine this is market and they have to run down. I've got stage, I've got time, I've got short, some guy mid. You're all fighting the same thing. So yes, they spawn closest to the time. But as long as you guys are in positions where you can refill power spots and take the same fights, you're going to be at an advantage. Look at the situation right here. Chat. He's looking the same way, he's looking the same way, he's looking the same way. Same concept here, chat.
Yeah, that's going to be another streak for Real. They are taking over, closing it out, 20 away for getting this to a monumental map 5 for
Such fantastic work. Look at him staying alive. Look at him trying his best to stay alive. Sliding, moving, and now they're playing ahead. As long as they kill the furthest pushed out players on the rotation to P4, they're not going to flip. They're always going to spawn out. Alright, chat, one more question. On P4, what do you guys notice from a flow perspective that Miami are doing? What lanes are they trying to pick up first? Again, the concept is still the same. What lanes are Miami trying to play the hardest at or trying to refill first? Let me rewind this for you guys.
Once again, 3 to 4, brilliant out of Heretics.
Can't ask for anything better. I mean,
Court and front. And why is that, chat? Again, let's keep thinking translatable concepts, right? Why is Miami trying to push out court and front first and play soft here? Why? So some of my newer guys in the chat, my newer viewers, answer this for me. Why, using P3 as an example, why are they trying to push out court and front? Flow Vengeance, Arctic, Des, Spartan, Burning. You guys answer this for me. But why? Let's now think of it from a micro perspective now. Think about it when you're shooting your gun. Why are you trying to get court control and P1 control? So why are they trying to play for this first? Why are they trying to do something like this? David, good answer. Good answer, to create another kill box. Let's think of it from Metals' perspective, right? Or let's think of it from, like, say, Super's perspective, but his actual screen. They're all helping each other. They're all shooting from multiple ways. So by controlling and taking your timing and understanding what lanes you need to pick up first, this is what we call flow. You then are in a position where you can help set up your teammates to get free kills because you're constantly trying to shoot people in the side. I'm going to be nicked for the exam. All good. You keep learning, right? So that's why when they're making kills, then they're pushing out a particular side of the map first, and they'll do this every single time for their game plan to get them spawning in a particular place, to then force them to take a specific route, to then set up a kill box or team shots or crossfires. Chat, are you starting to now understand how the macro can affect the micro? By understanding where your positioning should be, by understanding what side of the maps you need to control, where you need to control, and when you need to control it, it affects what positions you can play on the micro. That's how we set the game up for each other.
Good from Miami. Awakening's trying to do what he can. Yeah,
So you see this, chat?
from Super, 28 from Mentor, 28 makes it
Look at this, guys.
Real. It's another double from him.
Nice. Now look at number 2 here. He should bump out the left. Now he knows where the pressure's coming from. He's just going to help. Easy enough, chat, right? Easy enough. Okay, chat. We have 10 more minutes. Have you guys got any questions? Before I go back and talk about some of the most important bits.
Inside of tons. Probably 150.
So there's one more thing. I want to go through a key breakdown. I want to talk about the differences.
Fights. Reach of God.
Yeah, splits it easy. Splits it easy. If you have multiple teams with multiple people on this side of the map, let's say 2 from each team, if one of these spawns on the other side of the map are open, you'll spawn here. The game will be like, okay, this is a map progression spawn system. Positioning of you and your teammates will dictate the spawn points of the enemy. Positioning of the enemy will dictate the spawn points of you. If you have multiple teammates on your side of the map past this 50-yard line and multiple people on the enemy side of the map past the 50-yard line, if this side of the map is open, the game is like, right, I want to spawn you wherever safest. Based on the positioning of the other teammates, the game is like, right, I'm going to spawn you middle, left or right. I'll spawn you here. You get parallel, you're blocking, safe. The safest spawn is here. Boom, easy. Is there a favored side of the map to hold on rewind, like say street or gens? There's no squad spawn element except for when the hill is white. Flow Vengeance. It's entirely a map progression spawn system until the hill is white. Then the game will either give you the closest spawn possible or spawn you on top of a teammate. So that's why sometimes where, let's say the hill is white, the game is like, okay, can I spawn you closest to the hill? No. Can I spawn you on top of a teammate that's considered safe? Yes. Very rarely that happens. That's why Hacienda on the P4, you get that lobby spawn when the hill was white, or the enemy has no map progression. Is there a favorite side? So the favorite side, I mean, it's... I know some teams like to control gens and give you street like this, so you can take Routsburger, so you can spawn P2 and refill when needed. Teams don't like to spawn here because you'll get this like no map progression spawn like here, or if they're pushing gens, you'll spawn like here, or if they're on like this side of the time, you'll spawn like slightly deep here. Teams would rather you take street and just hold power spots from like here. Some variation like this. LAT do a really good job of like something like this. And get you spawning here. Something like that. No worries, Arctic. I appreciate you. And yeah, make sure you guys lurking are following the stream. So let me go and talk about my key breakdown right here. I think the differences right now, one of the biggest differences I noticed is from a flow perspective, from the rotation wave, obviously depending on if you've got progression or not, is Miami will play to control the gen side and they'll put pressure on this side of the map. They'll still have someone trying to play a spot or a hybrid spot here, just so they have space, so they get that information early. But they'll play positions towards this side of the map. They will let you try and take routes because it allows you to still spawn at the back here, like this, right? As we've seen here. So they'll play to stack or play tight around time for this initial wave. Have someone potentially staying out, getting that specific info. They'll then be in hybrid spots to then shift off that to help wherever the pressure's coming from to trade. If Boston then take routes, Miami are still layering and they're going to spawn trash. This is a difference between the way Boston played it. The way Boston play it is they want to play hard for this side of the map first, which makes them weak here. So then if they get traded out from the front, they just run through and flip you out anyway. So I think that's one of the biggest differences, or a key breakdown between the way Miami flow and their game plan perspective versus how Boston flow and their game plan perspective. Because then Miami are also in a position where, let's say they have this side pushed out, they can bump out P1, spawn you 18, and if you're spawning 18, it dictates what routes you're going to potentially take and the timings of the routes. You're in power spots to funnel them front, as opposed to, for example, spawning them here and then giving them routes again to do that. So for the first wave, they let you have the back, they'll fight for it, they'll layer, but then on the second wave, they'll try and bump through P1, bump through gens, give you this courtyard spawn as long as they're hard blocking, and then let you take routes. And I think that's one of the differences between how Miami play P2 and how Boston play P2. That's my key breakdown right now for this hill. So look how they play it here, chat. They're playing hard for this side. Remember, guys, based on what you're filling in, based on where you're flowing, what you don't see via process of elimination and prediction will tell you exactly where Boston are going to be. You bounce that information off your teammates. You know, okay, they're coming round. If you die, you're layering, you're spawning up. You then react specifically off that info. I think it's just game plan, Spartan, to be honest with you. It is game plan related. My teams have always preferred to push out front, same way Miami are doing it. Some teams like to hard play the back. It's just personal preference. I prefer this way because it gives you the ability to layer. As long as you are in positions to then trade, you're going to spawn close. Right here, you see how annoying it is for the layer? If they trade 7, then they can bang out front. And then now they're in positions where they can use the car, trade out front, play here, nade this, bump out front, you know?
The first P2, and it's probably 150 to 40 advantage to Heretics.
I mean, if they don't team nade here, they'll continue. Boston will continue to spawn out here, based on yeah. Yeah, if they stay alive, I mean, 4 would have spawned. Where would have 4 spawned? Yeah, 4 would have spawned here. They would have still been alive. 5 is blocking that. And then he dies in first, so he's going to spawn here. Kami's dead. Kami, where are they pushing? So Kami would have spawned court or close. But then he spawns out. Boom. So yeah, so you get the idea. You get the idea, chat. Alright, chat. Before I leave, any final questions? Anything you guys want to know? Anything you guys want to talk through? Any of you guys lurking want to know? What questions have you guys got? When will I be back? So make sure you are following my stream. And this, I think this command works. So the locker room is every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, 5 p.m. Central. I'll be back tomorrow at 5 p.m. So make sure you have the bell on. Make sure you follow me on Twitter, because I'm going to post a lot of clips from the locker room on Twitter. We'll go in depth, in detail about how teams are playing, stuff like that. Follow me on Twitter. I upload these to YouTube, so if any of you guys want to go back and watch these, it will be on my channel. I will upload it to YouTube right there. Make sure you subscribed if you haven't. If you guys subscribe to the Twitch, you get access to the emotes. We've got loads more emotes coming in. Look at how cool this is. In Modern Warfare 2 to very high. It's teamwork and a lot of early mornings and late nights. You know, I will never take any credit for the way Paco is. Paco's got here on his own, and he got here because of all the early mornings he would have coming into the office. We go through so much shit. in game, out of game. He stays after practice watching more shit, more stuff. You know, all of what he is based on his talent and based on his work ethic. His work ethic and the fact that he is such a good teammate. He works. I don't think you guys understand how hard he works and how seriously he takes this shit, even from a outside of the game perspective, mentality perspective, culture perspective, you name it. He does it, and it has a big effect on how he is as a player. All right, chat. Any more questions? Make sure you guys are following the stream if you haven't. Any final questions before I leave? You got 2 minutes. He's a unicorn for sure, for sure, 100%. All right, chat. Other than that, appreciate you guys watching. Appreciate you guys lurking. Appreciate all the follows. Appreciate all the tier ones. Means a lot. Means a lot. Means a lot. I will see you guys tomorrow. I'll see you guys tomorrow for the next one. Appreciate it. Have a good night. Actually, wait. Is there anyone I can raid? Hold on. Is there anyone I can actually raid? Chat. Is there anyone I can raid? Let me see first. Before you all leave, let me see who I can raid. Who can I raid? Brandon's got... I'm going to raid Attach. Guys. Let's raid Attach. Let's fucking raid Attach, baby. Let's get it. Appreciate you guys. I'll see you all tomorrow.